a lot of the times we don't act unless the consequences are right in front of us. How many people know that they shouldn't be eating bacon every day? Know that they shouldn't be eating all of the processed junk that they be eating every day. But until they're in a situation where the doctor tells them that they have to make these changes, they don't. But the doctor says, look, you are literally pre-diabetic, or you literally have diabetes now, or you literally have this heart problem, or you literally just had a stroke. It's like a lot of the time we won't take things seriously until we can see some kind of consequence. So what I want to help you do in this video, this is something that I've been thinking about today, is seeing the consequence now. Because if you can see the consequence of your inaction now, you're more inclined to actually do what you need to do in order to get a result. Now, that might be putting in work. That might be being more careful with the foods that you're putting into your mouth. That might be showing up, for the people who matter to you, who you want to be in your life long term. Because obviously we speak about the 6 F's here, right? We speak about the family, we speak about the finances, we speak about the faith, we speak about the fitness, we speak about the fulfillment, and we speak about the mental fortitude. You want to be able to elevate in all of these areas. But a lot of the times we put certain areas off, again, because we're not seeing the consequence of doing so now. You're not seeing the consequence of those nights where you felt like, you know what, not even nights, but days where you felt like, I don't really feel to do too much today. And you don't really do too much for your business, or you don't really do too much for your job, or you don't really do too much for your fitness. And it's like, maybe you have multiple days like that in a week, but you don't see a direct consequence of that in the moment. It's like, I think back to as I was focusing on passing the probation for my job, and I think about the fact that at the very start of that job, obviously I was doing stuff, but it's like, I knew that I could have gone even harder. Like I'll be grinding and stuff on the weekends or things like that. But it's like, I knew, you kind of know within yourself when you can do more. And I knew that I could have been doing more. And what happened is, closer towards the end of the probation, it was like, oh shit. Like if I don't double down, if I don't make it happen in some kind of way, then it's looking dark. I'm gonna probably get fired. As you guys, if you guys have been following the channel, or if you guys go to my old videos, you will see the whole story behind that. Managed to pass, so it's lit. But it's like, again, I didn't take it as seriously as I could have. I didn't go as hard as I could have until it was like, oh shit, like I have to. But imagine if I was able to see it like that from the beginning, I would have done even better in that first quarter than I ended up doing, which I did well. It was a blessing, but it's like, definitely could have done so much better. So now I'm thinking about that going into this quarter. What I want to help you think about, and what I've been thinking about today, is being able to bring those consequences in the forefront of your mind so that you don't have to deal with any consequences in the future. So that you don't have to deal with those health stresses that you're likely to deal with if you keep not taking your health seriously. You don't have to deal with the financial stresses that you're likely to deal with if you don't take your financial management seriously. It's not even just about the money that you're making, but it's about how are you actually managing that money. So many times I've been in situations where it's like, I've made money and I look back and I'm like, oh shit, if I actually held some of that money, I would actually be in a decent position right now. But instead, I've lost that cash flow source and now it's dark. So it's like, you kind of have to have the foresight to think, okay, if I don't follow through on this thing, or if I don't do this thing properly, this is the consequence. There's a consequence of inaction. There's a consequence of not showing up. And the consequence of that is that it pushes your goals back forwards. I'd guess forwards, backwards. It pushes it backwards. The goals that you want to achieve, it pushes them backwards. I was thinking to myself today, you know what? There's a lot of goals that I want to achieve, but I'm pushing them backwards by not operating on a level that I know that I can. And again, it's not that I'm not doing anything, but it's just that I know deep down that I could be doing even more. And I know deep down that there's a consequence of me not going that extra 10% or that extra 20% right now in this period. And there's different periods, there's different phases where maybe sometimes it doesn't make sense to go as hard as you're going because there's other things that you're prioritizing. But it's like right now, in this current moment, this week, I'm like, I can really do a lot more. I can really go super in. And if I don't go super in, then the consequence of that is the fact that, let's say I go super in. Let's say, for example, going super in allows me to hit extra targets, right? Let's say it helps me make an extra few thousand or whatever it is. The consequence of not doing that is actually an extra few thousand. So one thing that can be powerful is seeing the goal in your mind from now and realizing that if you don't follow through, that goal is now being removed from you or it's being pushed back to a later date. If that goal is you want to continue feeling healthy, you want to continue enjoying the blessings that you've been given to have a fully functioning body or a functioning body on the level that your body is functioning, if you want to maintain that standard or if you want to improve it or whatever it is, there's going to be things that you need to do. You want to be working out. You want to be looking after yourself. You want to be looking after your muscles. In the short run, it's going to feel like the consequence of doing these things, of putting in the work, of going to the gym, of taking care of your health and eating the foods that maybe aren't as pleasurable in the moment. The consequence is that lack of pleasure. The consequence is the pain of working out. The consequence is the pain of sitting there and focusing. But maybe that consequence is worth the reward that's yet to come. And in fact, maybe that consequence isn't as bad as what the consequence would be. You have to decide what consequence you're going to face. Because what would the consequence be if you didn't follow through? What would the consequence be if you don't show up every day? What would the consequence be if by the end of this year, you look back and you're like, shit, I didn't really do too much this year. I didn't experience much negative consequences. My life was pretty all right. It was cool because I stayed in my comfort zone, but I didn't experience the fruits of the labor that I was supposed to be putting in. Perhaps this inaction has caused me to now have other issues that I'm now needing to deal with. You don't want to have to be in that situation. You want to be in a situation where you've set good foundations at the start of this year. It's January the 13th right now. You've set good foundations. Don't be one of them guys, one of them ladies who in February, you've just forgotten. You've just forgotten that this was supposed to be your year. Maybe you've already forgotten, and allow this to be the reminder. Allow this to be the reminder that it's going to take some uncomfort. Or discomfort, I guess the word would be. It's going to take some discomfort. Because your brain is naturally going to tend back towards whatever previous version was there before you decided that you wanted to make something different of yourself. It's going to try to go back there, especially if you're just starting on your journey. Don't allow it to go back. And in fact, even if you're not just starting on your journey, as we spoke about in my previous video about the next level that you want to achieve requiring a new level of you, or I think it was like 2 videos ago or so. Since we understand that, it's like even going from level to level, once you go to that new level, certain changes that I'm focusing on implementing myself, I'm like, I know that there's going to be times, there's going to be a pull towards the previous version of myself, the current version of myself. But what you have to be able to do is resist that if you actually want to be able to have meaningful change in your life. So again, see the consequences of your inaction, see the consequences of putting in the wrong actions right now, and decide in this moment to take your life seriously. Because if you don't take your life seriously, then life isn't going to take you seriously either. With that being said, you've been tuning with Learning with Lamar, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.